In this video, we will learn how to edit a table within Indesign CS6. After creating a table, you may find that you want to insert or delete rows and columns, change alignment, convert tables to text, and more. The good news is that you can accomplish these tasks easily. You can insert rows and columns using a number of methods which we will discuss, and I will demonstrate within our document. To insert a row, place the insertion point in a row below or above where you want the new row to appear. Then select the table menu, select Insert, and then select Row. Then, in the dialog box, specify the number of rows you want to insert above or below the selected row. Then specify whether the new row or rows should appear before or after the current row. When finished, click the OK button. Notice now that the new rows have been placed within the table. Keep in mind that the new cells will have the same formatting as the text in the row in which the insertion point was placed. You should also keep in mind that this method of inserting a row is not necessary if you want to create a new row below the last row of the table, as I mentioned in a previous video. If you had wanted to accomplish this, you would simply place the insertion point in the last cell of the table, then click the Tab key on your keyboard regardless of whether you're using a PC or Mac. Keep in mind, however, that you may need to resize the container in which the table is displayed in order to see the new row. I can tell that this text frame, where my table resides, is not big enough to fit the table because I can see the overset indicator in the right-hand corner of the text box, which looks like a small red box with a cross in it. I'm going to undo my actions, and then we'll take a look at how to insert a column. To insert a column, place the insertion point in the column text to where you want the new column to appear. Then select the table menu, select Insert, and select Column. Within the Insert Columns dialog box, first specify the number of columns that you'd like to insert. Then, select whether or not you'd like these new columns to be displayed to the left or the right of the selected column. When finished, click the OK button. Notice now that the new columns have been inserted. Just like when we inserted a new row, the new cells of the column will have the same formatting as the text in the column in which the insertion point was originally placed. I'm going to undo my actions again. If you'd like to insert multiple rows and columns, place the insertion point in a cell, then select the Table menu, select Table Options, and then select Table Setup. Within this dialog box, you could change the amount of body rows and columns that are listed. When you're finished, you could click the OK button. The new rows would be added to the bottom of the table, and any new columns would be added to the right side of the table. You can also change the number of rows and columns using the Table panel. If you haven't displayed the Table panel already, select the Window menu, then select Type and Tables, and select Table. Notice the first section of the Table panel are the number of rows and number of column settings. You could easily increase or decrease the amount of rows and columns here. When adding columns, if you drag more than 1.5 times the width of the column being dragged, new columns are added that have the same width as the original column. If you drag to insert only one column, that column can have a narrower or wider width than the column from where you dragged. The same behavior is true of rows. In this case, if you drag to create only one new row, Indesign will resize the new row if necessary so that it's tall enough to contain text. To demonstrate, I'm going to position the Type tool over the border of a column or row so that the double arrow icon appears. I'm going to hold down my left mouse button, then hold Alt on a PC or Opt on a Mac keyboard while dragging down to create a new row, or to the right if I were creating a new column. Keep in mind, if you press Alt or Opt before holding down the mouse button, the hand tool will appear, so make sure that you begin dragging before you press Alt or Opt. Notice in my example how multiple new rows are being created. To delete a row, column, or table, place the insertion point inside the table, or select text in the table, then choose the Table menu, select Delete, and then select Row, Column, or Table. If you'd like to delete rows and columns by using the Table Options dialog box, choose the Table menu, select Table Options, and then select Table Setup. In this dialog box, specify a different number of rows and columns, and then click the OK button. Rows will be deleted from the bottom of the table, and columns are deleted from the right side of the table. If you'd like to delete a row or column by using the mouse, select the rows or the column, right-click on a PC or Control-click on a Mac, and select Delete, and then choose Column or Row on the drop-down menu, depending on what you have selected. If you'd like to delete cell contents without deleting the actual cells themselves, you would select the cells that contain the text you want to delete, or use the Type tool to select the text within the cells, and then press Backspace or Delete, or choose the Edit menu and select Clear. This is just like deleting text that exists within a regular text frame within your document. As mentioned in a previous video, navigating through a table is fairly simple. You can move up, down, left or right with the arrow keys, or you can advance to the next cell using the Tab key and move back a cell by using the Shift-Tab key on a PC and Mac. However, I didn't mention before that you can jump to a specific row in a table as well. To do so, select the Table menu and select Go to Row. Then you can specify the row number you want to jump to, or if a header or footer row is defined in the current table, you could select header or footer from the menu. Then when finished, click the OK button. When text is selected within a cell, cutting, copying, and pasting actions are the same as for text selected outside a table. You can also cut, copy, and paste cells and their contents. If the insertion point is in a table, when you paste, multiple pasted cells appear as a table within a table. You can also move or copy an entire table as well. You'd first select the cells that you want to cut or copy, then select the Edit menu, and select Cut or Copy. Then you could do either of the following. You could embed a table within a table by placing your insertion point in the cell where you want the table to appear, then selecting the Edit menu and selecting Paste. Or to replace existing cells, you could select one or more cells in the table that you'd like to paste into, ensure that there are sufficient cells below and to the right of the selected cell, and then you'd select the Edit menu and select Paste. If you'd like to move or copy a table, you'd first have to select the entire table, then select the Edit menu, select Cut or Copy, and then move your insertion point to the new location, and then select the Edit menu and select Paste. If you'd like to convert a table to text, use the Type tool to place the insertion point inside of the table, or select text within the table. Then select the Table menu, and select the Convert Table to Text option. Within the Convert Table to Text dialog box, choose a column separator and row separator from the drop-down options. Finally, when finished, click the OK button. Notice now that my table has been converted to text. When you convert a table to text, the table lines are removed and the separator that you specified is inserted at the end of each row and column. Finally, you could also use the Paste command to merge two or more tables into a single table. First, in the target table, you would insert at least as many blank rows as you will be pasting from the other table or tables. You must do this because if you insert fewer rows than are copied, you cannot paste. Then in the source table, you would select the cells you want to copy, select at least one cell where you want the incoming rows to be inserted, and then you'd select the Edit menu and select Paste. This concludes our tutorial on editing a table within Indesign CS6. Once a table is created and modified to suit your needs, you are ready to apply formatting that will really make your table visually interesting. So keep watching the rest of this chapter to learn how to do it.